All right. There. All right. So, pakilala ko po muna si Filipino Homes. So, some of you po, I mentioned already kung sino si Filipino Homes. But I wanted to ulitin ko po, no? For those na hindi pa nakikilala si Filipino Homes. So, Filipino Homes po is actually currently the largest network of real estate brokers and agents in the Philippines. Actually, we are expanding now globally to our global partners. Currently, we have brokers and agents representing Filipinos all over the world. So we have conventions here in Japan. Yan, yung na-share ko po kay Sir Jess last time. We also have in Dubai, in Singapore. Soon we'll be in Canada also. Uh, Most of our also are in Middle East. So uh, yeah, that one po. Currently, si Filipinos ang biggest network of PRC accredited and DSUD registered na mga salespersons and brokers in the Philippines, reaching over 10,000, currently 10,000 brokers and agents nationwide and across the world. So we're going to open again our international branches. We will be having in LA, Japan, and Dubai. No, I think also I don't know if Singapore and Thailand, but we will also have one in ASEAN country. So as of now po, we're still expanding. Actually, this is only the first time that Filipinos is also expanding its global reach. So sooner or later, Filipinos will be known as a Filipino brand that has an international network of real estate agents, similar to Keller Williams, Remax. Ayan. So that's Filipino Homes. And as of now, we're also starting our association of real estate appraisers. No? Dumadami na rin po kasi ang mga appraisers ng Filipino Homes. And I think last month, we had a convention for the appraisers. We created the Association of the Appraisers, sponsored by Filipino Homes, and elected the national officers. Right. So, si Filipino Homes po is actually an umbrella organization. No? This side of the company focuses on new developments, no? Projects from different developers. Then, sa ilalim po ni Filipino Homes, we have Rent.ph and the Leoterio Brokerage. So, si Rent.ph po is actually the one handling all the leasing from properties na nakukuha namin from project selling as well as properties endorsed to us by unit owners. Then, if in case you wanted to liquidate those properties, Leoterio Brokerage naman po ang maghahawak in reselling your property to the secondary market. So technically, Filipinos is a one-stop shop company for all your real estate needs. And I think yesterday we also had an accreditation with BDO Loan. So aside from selling, leasing, we also do mortgage na rin po. So if you wanted to refinance or loan a property, we can have it processed for you. No, either sa amin po kayo bumili o hindi. We have that branch na rin for our clients. All right. So by the way, this is Boss Anthony Leterio. He is our founder and currently the CEO of Filipinos Group of Companies. And the picture na nakikita po ninyo in the middle is actually Boston. Then on his sides are the top brokerage superstars for 2023. So we had that national convention back in October 2022. All right. So Boston po actually currently no is a 4 holder, 4 certificate holder from the Harvard Online Business School. He also has, I think, in Oxford and in Cambridge. All right. So I wanted you to meet first po, no, our team. So within Philippine Homes, we have our own sales unit. So Mr. Alejandro Manialac is actually our team leader. He's been in the real estate industry for more than 30 years already. And I'm really excited because He's now into property developments, and I'm going to use his property also for our technical workshop. That one po I will share later. Um, he is also a one of the officers na rin po in TREBA. That's a Philippine-based association of real estate professionals and builders. And currently, he also has seats available na nasa National Association of Realtors in the US. All right. Then, my unit manager naman po together with us is Boss Jeffrey Sanchez. He's the one handling the EMRS Realty unit. He has more than 20 years of experience again in the real estate investments. And siya po, no, primarily yung nag-help sa amin in helping our national and international property investors, just like you. Right. So siya po yung nakadirect supervision sa amin. Right. Then, yours truly po, I'm Carlo J. Manalo. I'm from Team Empire, one of the sub-teams of EMRS Realty. And I'm the one naman po handling our investment analysis para sa mga uh, new and upcoming developments. I'm also the one na nag-qualify ng properties ngayon in assessing if, if it fits for a real estate investor who wanted to list the property to get returns from their investments. So currently po, I'm taking my real estate management degree at PLM in Manila and soon to be a broker appraiser and portfolio consultant. Alright. So our team po primarily focuses on leasing. So I think most po no sa inyo you were invited because you are one of our unit owners na hawak namin sa pagpaparent ng mga units. All right. So I wanted to assess po sana, no, you can react, you can type one if kayo to. I wanted to know po sana who among of you ran the numbers before buying a property. All right. So si Sir Ron, nandito na rin. Sir John, he runs the number first before buying the property. That's a good sign, Sir John. No? Surprisingly po, no, for most of the unit owners na clients namin, we're really surprised kasi pag tinanong namin sila, Ma'am, Sir, why did you bought this property? Ang usually nasagot lang nila sa amin is because I have a friend in real estate and inoferan niya ako and kailangan daw niya ng quota. And it saddened us kasi some of those units na nakaganon setup ay nakatambak lang for almost 3 to 4 years. We also have invitees na sinendan din po namin ng invitation na yung property nila was turned over during the pandemic and since then, hindi nila napakinabangan yung property. And, for them, most of them reached to us para ibenta sa amin properties nila. But we suggested na it is better to rent it out first ngayon than to sell it right away. Kasi it depends on the market na nandun sila, mostly in Mandaluyong. And buyers now in Mandaluyong are very in control of the market price. So if you're able to try to liquidate properties if you have in Mandaluyong, you're going to see buyers asking for 20 to 25% discount. And currently that area is in buyer's market pa. So yeah, this is also the reason po why we did this webinar exclusively for our unit owners. Kasi we feel na we have that kind of responsibility to share with them kung paano mag-run ng numbers. We are hearing so many horror stories, sadly, na they only lost money from the investment. And it gave them an idea na whenever you invest in real estate, it's only an expense. No, little did they know that real estate is really one of the solid investments out there that can create generational wealth. So that's what we're advocating for today, and this is the reason why we are gathering today also. Right. So may I know din po, no, you can react. Who among of you set up a threshold or a metric in qualifying of property. So, for example, um, if you run the numbers at hindi siya pasok sa ganitong klaseng return na hinahanap ko, probably this is not a good buy for me. Yeah, you can react po or type on if you like. If you are this kind of person, no. So again, we have so many owners na napilitan or nabigla lang bumili. And we have no choice but, to continue their purchase, their investment. And that's what we're addressing po, no, today. All right. So here's a hard fact po, for everyone. And I know, and I think some of you already realize this, na not all properties are actually worth buying. Even kahit lote lang siya. So, in the Philippines, pag sabi lang, buy land, bili kang lote, just let it sit there, then benta mo pag nagmahal. Even lands, it depends on what location located yung property. If you are located somewhere near, let's say, an infrastructure project, either in provincial or in Metro Manila, probably that's a good buy, no? That's a good buy to land bank. But if you are located, in far part of the provinces, it might take you 30 to 50 years before you can even, get returns from your property. So, we actually got unit owners na meron din silang mga purchase na land, mostly in the provinces. And sad to say, some of them, hindi siya ganong nag-appreciate in value, even if they are holding already for more than 10 years. So, technically, they haven't realized any returns from their investments yet. So, that's what we wanted to uh, share with everyone. Another is, if hindi man siya land, maybe it's a condominium uh, property in Metro Manila. It's a hard fact na not all condominiums in Metro Manila are worth buying. So we actually did run the numbers on some of the properties, and sad to say, parang pasok lang yata sa 10 daliri po namin yung pwede namin mabilang na, worth buying as of now. So if you're able to secure a property probably around 2013 to 2015, those are some of the best properties cash flowing today. But if you're able to purchase, let's say, around 2017, 2018, then you have your turnover probably 2022 to 2023. Probably you're not in a good position right now because we have unit owners, actually naawa din kami sa kanila kasi their monthly amortization sa bank it's around, this is in Fame, SMBC Fame. Their monthly amortization is around 35,000. But the rental rate for the area is actually 20 to 25,000 only. So they needed to uh, accept the fact that for quite some time, hindi talaga sila magka-cash flow. And that was the time na binili nila yung panahon ang ganda-ganda pa talaga ng economy. Ang ganda-ganda pa ng market. The POGOs are here and everything, you have the demand. But it's harder today. So, yun yung isa sa mga bagay na hindi nila na-assess or hindi nila na-anticipate. And none of us would probably anticipate that uh, event to happen after the pandemic. All right. Okay. So let's move on po, no, to our event proper. So let us first understand, no, especially for those na first time real estate investors that has one rental property or two. Let's understand first na what is cash flow, because later on we also have another metric na similar to cash flow pero napagbabaliktad kasi siya. So cash flow refers only to the net amount you receive from your rental property after you deduct all expenses and debt services. No, it is uh, the money left after paying everything related to your property. So this includes like your operating expenses such as association dues, um, probably cleaning, maintenance. It also includes what we call is real estate taxes, no property taxes. It can also include the amortization in your bank if the property is financed, and insurances. Especially if it is finance, more likely may nakadikit po sa kanyang MRI and fire insurance as required by the lending institutions. So, uh, there are two types po, no, of a rental property. It can be a long-term or for short-term. So currently, if you wanted, if you wanted to have that security, probably the long-term setup is for you. These are the minimum 1 year or minimum 6 months. Um, if you have a commercial property, usually that's a minimum of 2 or 3 years. No, that's for long-term. It gives you a guaranteed monthly rent from that property. Now, with short term po, this is actually a very diverse segment of types of rental property. Because you have a short term rental, let's say for staycation or Airbnb. Uh, this kind of setup kasi, no, if you are promised na, invest in this property, you can get passive income, then you opt in going for Airbnb. Sad to say, that's no longer passive. No? Unless you hire somebody like a VA to work on those properties. Pero if you're going to accommodate your property yourself, it will no longer be passive. No. Another is that if let's say if you have a commercial property, um, this is a new trend in the commercial real estate because offices are, medyo bumababa yung kanilang occupancy rate, especially in Bay Area and in BGC and Mandaluyong. We're seeing tons of vacancy as of now. And what they're doing right now is that if hindi nila kaya iparent ng long term, pinaparent nila by seats. Yeah, co-working spaces. Now, to maximize the return, minsan hindi na siya by seats. It can be by seat, pero at the same time, um, by hour na rin. So, in short-term rental, you are required to get a property manager for you to consider that investment really passive for yourself. But the thing is, if you hire a property manager, this usually ranges from 35 to 30, 40% of the rental income that serves as their professional fees. All right. So to give you an idea, for us, it is actually around 30 to 35%. It depends on what kind of property and how many units. So if you have a unit, let's say in a condotel setup, probably you have that projects exist, let's say in Taft area or in Tagaytay. No, I think there's a Vista property in Tagaytay that offers this kind of setup. Their professional fee for property manager is actually around 35%. Similar with Bay Area, you have Goton Bay Suites. That's also 35% in property management fee. Then you have some in Makati from Keeland. This is beside Columns Legazpi. That's also 35% na property management fee. That one is by Ascot naman. So, it is very important to consider what type of rental property you're going to. All right. The second is the type of services na fit for the type of rental property that you want. So, in case of long term, usually you only need a leasing agent to handle the property for you. So, probably the scope of work would be around marketing, processing of papers, the drafting of contracts, notarization, and up to the move out, all documentary requirements are accomplished. No, but for short term, you need property managers. No, and in terms of compensation for this kind of scope of work, for leasing agents, that's around 1 month for every 1 year contract since it is long term. Pero for short term, yun nga, percentage basis na siya. So later, when we run po yung numbers no, to our demo, we will show you yung effect no, if in case you have a property manager or you do it leasing lang. All right. Next. So what are the factors that you need to consider po in qualifying a property? So number one is of course, kahit kailan hindi po ito talaga mawawala na, that's location. So the closer you are to different institutions, both public and private, of course you have a higher demand. No? So probably if you have, let's say, if you're looking for a property around BGC, uh, the BGC market is already a perfect market in terms of competition. Malaki ang demand as well as the supply. But if you're going to invest in a property, let's say located po in Commonwealth Quezon City, offices mas kaunti as compared to the CBDs. Demand, of course, mas kaunti rin siya. Pero it's a matter of you have more demand still than the supply. So if you are in Commonwealth area, probably you cannot, ask for more in terms of rental as compared kung yung property mo is located in BGC. The second one is uh, the property management. So if you wanted to do it yourself, if you are in the Philippines, ganyan, and you have the time to do it, probably you don't need to to put in something here unless you wanted to have a setup na a percentage of your rental from your investment goes to you, no? Parang sort of a salary type for you. Pero if you're going to hire someone, of course, you needed to pay them their professional fees. So that's also one thing to consider. Another is the property condition po. If you're going to buy, let's say, in secondary market, no, very evident kasi kung yung building ngayon is, let's say, 10 years old na compared to a property na 5 years old pala. So if you are familiar with Mandaluyong area, there's actually a three condos na magkakadikit. That one is for San Francisco Garden, then the DMCI na Dansalan, then the DMCI na Kai Garden. So um San Francisco is already 10 years old at pag pumasok ka, makikita mo talaga yung difference niya kung compared to the newer condominiums. If you're in Dansalan, medyo maayos pa siya. Pero if you're going to compare to Kai Garden na kaka-turnover lang this year, very different pa rin talaga kung ano yung condition ng property, yung amenities, not to mention the condition of the unit na binibili mo mismo. No? Of course, mas matanda yung property, mas prone ito to pests, mas prone ito to leakage, deterioration, and so on. So that's the thing that you also need to consider. Market condition. Fourth one, ito siguro yung number one na hindi na ko consider ng some of the unit owners that we have. To tell you frankly, pag may lumalapit pong owner sa amin and hindi talaga pasok sa market yung gusto niyang rent for his property, we politely decline. Why? Kasi hindi fit yung gusto mong rental for the current market. Tulad kanina, we have a unit owner. He has a unit in Harbor Park in Mandaluyong. And gusto niya ng 55,000 rental for a one-bedroom condominium. If you have a 55,000, might as well go to BGC. You can get at least 2 bedroom or 1 bedroom na maganda. So, hindi na nagma-match yung expected return niya compared sa market condition in the area. So, let's say for Harbor Park, safe to say kasi is around 15 to 20,000, probably max 25,000. Depende pa kung furnishing property or hindi. So, that's one thing also to consider. Another is that we have unit owners na talagang sobrang nilang pinapaganda yung property nila. Like, as in, hotel level na maganda. Pero yung market na nasa area nila are those people who don't need ng super gandang property. They just needed a place to stay overnight kasi they are working. And they cannot afford yung malaking rental rate for the property. I actually have this unit owner who bought in Red Residences. And she was thinking na ipa-renovate yung unit niya for a hotel type. Sabi ko, ma'am, wag muna. Kasi uh, the current market for Makati in that area is Roses. If papagandahin mo siya ng sobra, probably hindi na worth it yung gastos mo compared sa potential return mo. Kasi almost, 2 to 3,000 difference lang halos between a bare and a furnished or a semi at least. So, I recommended that and mas na-appreciate naman yun kasi at least the renovation cost na binigay kasi sa kanya is around 500 to 800,000, which is too much para sa 2 to 3,000 difference. No? So that's also one thing to consider. Also, you need to consider the operating cost. If you're going to have it leased out for the long term, probably you don't have much. Pero if you have, let's say, for Airbnb, you needed to account for the cleaning, you needed to account, let's say, for the savings in case may masira, for capex, you needed to account for the property manager na probably sort of a caretaker, if you like, na laging nandun to accommodate the guests. So that's one thing to consider also. Kasi if the property is located in an area na hindi naman ganun kalakas for short-term rentals, probably hindi siya mag-work and mag-negative cash flow ka lang. To give you an idea po, no, we suggest some of our clients na if you wanted to do an Airbnb, look for an area na may hotel. Kasi kapag may hotel, there will be people looking for something mas mas affordable pero hindi naman ganun kapangit. So, if you have units in around the NAIA or Bay Area, those are perfect for Airbnb. No? Pero if you have properties, let's say in Mandaluyong, na bihira lang yung nag-Airbnb, mostly are working in Makati, BGC, or in Mandaluyong itself, uh, mas maganda kung long-term siya. Right? Then, another thing to consider is the financing and the loan. Later, I will share the computation and how you do the numbers. Pero, this is also one of the reasons na nakaka-affect bakit nag-negative cash flow yung mga properties ng mga unit owners namin. No? Kahit maganda na yung rate na nakuha nila, negative pa rin. It is because of the costly financing. Some of them getting units na naka 10% lang yung down payment, tapos 90% is loaned sa bank, which is highly leveraged. No? The sweet spot for real estate investment is actually 50-50. So, let's say you're looking for a property na 8 million, the sweet spot is for you to pay in down, no, as your equity, the 50%, the 4 million, then use the another 4 million for financing. Why? Sa Philippines, in real estate sector po kasi, no, even property developers, if you wanted to be sustainable yung business mo, you must have an equal amount of leverage as compared to your capital. Why? Kasi if you become over leveraged, property is not a liquid investment na hindi agad mabebenta in case you needed money. You needed that buffer na hindi ganun kalaki yung debt services mo, yung bayad mo sa loan. Kasi if you're over leveraged, chances are, if you cannot sustain it, it will only be foreclosed by the financing institution. So it can be the bank or Pag-ibig. So, ang mahirap lang po doon kasi is that if you have a record of foreclosure, mostly pagka-bank, in your next loan, hindi na nila kayo more likely or at least significantly mas mababa na yung chance na ma-approve kayo on your next home loan. So that cuts you off from one of the biggest financing option out there in the Philippines. Right? Then lastly, you need also to consider the occupancy rate. We're seeing a lot of agents, no, showing a particular condo with estimates at around 90 to 100% occupancy. And in the Philippines currently, if you're able to do that, no, probably you're one of the best property managers in the Philippines. Kasi currently po, if you notice, you can also assess on your own property. Sa buong duration na hawak niyo po yung property, how many months may tao sa unit? More likely, no, na if this is you only have one or two properties, uh, probably for most of the time, vacant pa siya. If hindi man, mabilis yung turnover ng clients, like maraming pre-termination, ganyan. And giving you an estimate of around 90 to 100% occupancy rate is nearly unrealistic. No? Actually, even offices now has only 70 to 80% occupancy rate. 20 to 30% of the offices now are vacant. And not to mention na even in BGC, there are tons of occupants, vacant units then na hindi pa rin nakaparis out up until today. So later, we will consider occupancy rate in our computation to give you a more conservative way in running the numbers. Right? Especially if you wanted to do it short term, like for Airbnb. No? Kasi, of course, not all year round naman you have guests. Probably you only have peak seasons na talagang madami. Then probably you have seasons na talagang mahina. So we will average them out and we'll show you how to run it. Alright? So, okay. Kanina po, no, we discussed about what is cash flow. Now, I wanted to emphasize the difference between a gross and a net cash flow. When we say gross, this is actually technically your effective rent. No, this is the amount that you receive before deducting anything. And when we say net, this is the amount that you receive after removing all expenses. No, so on our metrics, no, later on, we will be focusing on the net cash flow and what we call the net operating income or the NOI. So most investor doesn't realize the importance of NOI. You see, NOI is used for valuing real estate properties. So if you have an income generating property, real estate appraisers use NOI to value your property. So if you have a better NOI, you have a better resale value for your property. And most people, they simply don't even know NOI itself. No. Later, I will show you saan makikita banda si NOI if you're not yet familiar. Another is that banks, no, this is more on the commercial property. If you have a commercial property and let's say fully paid mo na siya before pa, then you needed additional capital, so you wanted to use your current property as a collateral for, a loan. Sila banks po kasi, they look at the numbers and check what is your NOI. Kasi dito po sila nagbe-base how much of a loan they can give you. If you have higher NOI, they can give you higher loans for your property because it is more valuable. Pero if you don't have much NOI, they cannot lend you anything. No. Primarily for the commercial properties, but this also runs for uh, high value or mga high-end ng properties even in residential. Yeah. So you have the cash flow and you have the NOI. Yeah. So this is actually how you run the numbers. First, you have the effective gross, effective rent. This is the actual money that you receive from your tenants. No. So vacancy is already removed kasi technically in the first place, you don't have anything to collect if the property is vacant. No. Then, after you get the effective rent, you subtract the operating expenses. Your operating expenses is anything na kailangan nyo to maintain your property. So, technically, it's everything aside from your loan payments. All right? Then, if you manage to subtract it from the effective rent, the number you will arrive at the net operating income po. No. So this is the effective rent minus the operating expenses. So NOI, as mentioned kanina, dito naka-base si banks. Dito rin naka-base sila appraisers. Alright. Also banks, they also have their own appraisers. So if that is a commercial property, they will look into your numbers as well. All right. Then, if you remove your loan payments or your debt services from your NOI, that technically is your net cash flow. No. So technically, that's the real amount na natira sa inyo after removing everything. All right. Okay. So before po tayo mag-move forward no to our demo nung paggawa ng numbers, I wanted to share these four important metrics. If you are new to real estate and you try to search how to assess properties, sobrang dami ninyong makikitang financial metrics. Minsan, if you're not familiar pa, nakakahilo talaga siya. Pero if you're a starting investor or even an average investor, these are the only four that I really recommend if you wanted to assess or qualify yung property na tinitingnan na ninyo. So number one is the cash on cash return. The cash on cash return or the COC is the return that you get from the money that you spend. So for example, if you spend 4 million for a property and you get, let's say, 1 million a year, no, as a return na cash flow na, like net na talaga, it means you have a 25% cash on cash return, which is super high. Probably unrealistic na for the Philippine setting, no? So that's one way. Why? Uh, because we're only considering the amount that you invested, no? So this way, makikita mo uh, ilang percent ba yung bumabalik sa akin every year from the amount na nilabas ko. The second is the payback period. For most of the unit owners na nakausap namin, they really don't have this kind of metric. Pag tinanong ko, ma'am, tingin nyo how long bago nyo makuha yung initial investment ko na 4 million? Tsaka lang sila nagko-compete na, ay, ang tagal, baka 20 to 25 years pa bago bumalik yung pera. So, in my example a while ago, like 4 million yung in-invest mo, and you have, let's say, 1 million in cash flow a year. Technically, in 4 years, you can receive your investment, no? Yung return of investment mo. So, you have a payback period of 4 years only. But in the Philippines, if you're able to see a property that can give you 5 years payback period, yun yung mga properties na hindi na halos pinag-iisipan, no? Kasi if you run the numbers conservatively and you still gave you 5 years payback period, like 20% cash on cash return, that's already a good buy. Pero if you have, let's say, you saw a property that can have a payback period of 10 years, probably that's the average one. No? Pero if you're going to check on a property na 20 years pa yung payback period niya, probably it's not worth it anymore. No? Kasi if you're going to consider the time value of money, in 20 years time, yung amount na in-invest mo ngayon would be far, far, far more valuable than 20 years later. Not to mention na within 20 years, hindi siya one lump sum na balik. Installment pa yan, no? Na nakadivide pa sa 20 yung 4 million mo. So, you also need to consider that. Number three is your total return on investments. So, meaning you consider the price appreciation, you consider the cash flows from your property, anything that you can gain from the unit, you consider it with your ROI. So, if you're going to see a property na nagta 10% ROI a year, that's a good buy already. Pero if ang ROI niya nasa 2 to 3% lang, I will suggest you go for real estate investment trust na lang. Kasi those trusts can give you 5 to 7%. It depends on your entry point. So, wala ka pang ginawa, di ba? So, what's the point of investing in real estate if 2 to 3% lang yung kaya niyang ibigay sa'yo? Alright? Then, lastly is the capitalization rate or the cap rate. So, kanina, I mentioned that NOI is a metric that appraisers use to value your property. Ano? Because if you divide the NOI by your capitalization rate, you will get the value of your property. No, actually, even companies, corporation, they are also valued this way. No, one way of valuing them. In real estate, this is very rampant. So, if you have a cap rate na mababa lang, No? Ibig sabihin nun, your property is very valuable. Let's say you have a cap rate of 4%. Napaka-valuable ng property mo. Dito mo masasabi na the smaller the better. If you have a cap rate naman na malaki, like 25%, 20%, halos wala na siyang, alam mo yun, hindi na valuable yung property mo. Almost, right? So, that's one thing to look forward to. Later, when we do the demo, I actually have a naka-input na formula para when we run the numbers, you can check. Then, if you like, I can also share that spreadsheet to you para if you wanted to run the numbers sa gusto niyo yung property, you'll be able to run those. Alright. Okay, so we have here a recommended thresholds depending on your risk appetite on how to qualify a property. No, so we need to accept the fact na we can only invest as much as our financial capacity. No, and as much as gusto natin makuha lahat ng qualified property for us, it's simply not realistic enough unless you have a huge access. You have an access to huge capital. No, but if not, for a typical investor, uh, you need to consider this. No, so we divided it to three. No, the conservative investors, which prioritize financial security, meaning they wanted to ensure na in the long run, meron silang rental income. It doesn't necessarily mean na malaki yung cash on cash return ko or matagal yung payback period ko. Ang mahalaga lang sa kanila ay every month may pumapasok. The second is the market movers. Like, they only move with the market. Kung anong market natin, dapat nandun din tayo. So these are the people na hindi naman sila conservative, na ayaw nilang sobrang tagal. Hindi rin naman sila aggressive, na ayaw nilang sobrang leverage yung property nila. So the other one is the aggressive investors. These are the investors that want to beat the market. No, I want to have a return higher than the market. So these are more risky, pero it gives you a higher reward. All right. So for conservative investor, if you're able to found a property that can give you a cash on cash return of at least 3% with payback period, let's say in at least 20 years, no. And you wanted to sell in the next 20 years pa naman, let's say you prioritize your monthly income, then it's a good buy already. No. We will recommend that you move forward with the property. Now, if you're an aggressive investor, no, for most aggressive investor, 15% cash on cash return ang target nila. Actually, for some, it's even 20%. But if you don't want to miss out on properties na maganda naman, talaga hindi lang niya abot yung 20%. At least 15% or at least 12% is a good buy already. No? For them, typically, no, payback period in 5 years. Gusto ko in 5 years, mabalik ko na yung initial investments ko para I can move it to another property, right? And, for them, exit na tayo in 10 years time. Kasi na-maximize na natin yung value ng property. Alright? So, you can take a screenshot of this para you have a guide for yourself. And let's move forward. Alright. Let me check. Okay. So, are you guys, sir, ready to run the numbers? I will be asking lang para we have a sample, no? This will be coming from anyone po, no? Can you recommend a condominium project or a development na gusto nyong i-run yung numbers? And we will have it run. Then I will show po on how we actually do it, no? So, you can type in our chat box if you have a suggested property na gusto nyo ipa-check yung numbers, and we will run the numbers for them. All right, let me just prepare the others. All right. Wait na. Stop share ko lang po. And let me share the other screen. Alright. I have here actually a sample of the, yeah, alright. Okay. So do you have, no? Okay. Thank you, sir, sa friend. Alright. Let's try po, no? Let's try to run SMDC Fame. So, sige. SMDC Fame. Around 6 million. Alright. So, what we usually do is, actually kami po, no, we have access to these developers and we can actually get the actual numbers. So, pero for the sake po, no, na ginagawa natin itong webinar, we will only rely on what's, kung ano yung nasa online, nasa Google. So, let's run the numbers po. So, sige, let's check. Ano tayo ng from SMBC mismo. Alright. So, this is SMBC Fame. I believe they are on Tower 3 or 4 na yata yung binibenta nila. Sa example ni Sir, that's actually around 6M for 24 square meter. So, I believe this is a one bedroom. Probably no balcony pa kasi ang with balcony nila around 26, 27 square. Let's see if we're going to check. Okay. So let's just double check for the price. Some of this, and example ito, this is already from SMBs. 4 million. Okay, so currently they're selling at, this one kasi is pasalo. This is also a resale. Ano tayo ng from seller mismo? Assuming na you're going to get. Okay, so this is from a seller. So, sir, sa parang, yung na-check nyo, that's already 6M kasi they are marketing 4M pa eh. Alright. Sige. Let's try. Okay. They're marketing it in Dubai for 6M. Alright. So if yun yung price nila, sige. Let's try to run it. Kasi I really don't believe that na they still have 4 million. Kasi we have access to their to their platform, to their database. So I know there's also no 4M yet. So this is quite misleading pa. Sige. So let's assume po, no, na this is a for 6 million na property. Lakihan ko lang para mas kita siya. So, this, as mentioned po kanina, no, really the sweet spot is 50-50. 50% loan, 50% equity. Pero let's just assume na they are offering it for a 2080 terms, which is the typical terms ni SMBC. So you have 1.2 million in equity and 4.2 million in 4.8 million in loan, no? Let's say ang loan niyo is at 8% interest at 15 years na loan term. So your monthly payment would be around 45,000 per month. This is for the bank, right? So yeah, this is for the bank, the 45,000. Right. So everything po kasi dito is naka-formula na, as you can see in my formula bar. But this may be an estimate, pero it is closer to what the actual is. Currently, dahil nasa high interest pa ang Philippines, no, the base interest kasi ni BSP is around 6.5% now. So probably banks would be around 8 to 9%. So going 8% is actually aggressive. If you go 9%, this is a bit conservative. No? Kasi probably ma-approve ka pa ng mga 8% or 7.8 whatsoever. Ganyan. So, if you wanted to be conservative, we can try 9% or 8.5 para at least in the middle tayo. So, your monthly would be around 47,000. Now, let's take a look at your cash out. No? Naglabas ka ng 1.2 million as your equity. cost to make ready, let's say you're just going, would you like to do it, sir, ng as for kung papa-Airbnb mo siya or long-term rental lang para yung cost to make rent ready natin would be closer to what you wanted. So, alright. Kung long-term po, probably a budget of around 100, probably max 150,000. Kasi you only needed the aircon, the bed, the heater, washing machine as a bonus, the sofa, and the like. Probably hindi na siya lalagpas ng 150,000. Alright. So let's just assume, no, conservatively 150,000 to make it rent ready. Then with SMBC, they actually have a closing cost of 6.5%. So this includes the title transfer, miscellaneous expenses, pakabit ng utilities, and whatnot. Magkakasama na po siya. So I adjusted it to 6.5%. Now, days occupied. So the 10 days is actually 33% occupied. So since long term naman to, let's just say na 70% is occupied. Pero this is kasi naka-daily. So let's change it. No. Let's just focus on the basic rent or the rate projected for, no, let's project it now kasi they're already available naman. So, paano natin malalaman magkano ang parentahan sa claim? If you're going to ask an agent, meron na siyang price in mind. Pero if you wanted to check the market, no. Actually, my go-to site is the property. Kasi may summary sila ng mga units dito for rent or for sale. So this is, I think this is a one bedroom. So as you can see, no, this is the market. There are units yan, 24 square meter, 25,000. This one medyo maganda na nga siya. Naka-interior pa siya, no? So I don't think 150,000 lang to. Medyo mas mahal to kasi ang dami niyang gamit. So at least we have a benchmark. So that's one option, no? Then, if you don't want naman, they also have another 25,000. Pero basic lang. No? So, this is actually, ito po yung actual way, no? Pag nag-assess kami ng market rates. So, we really check each listings. Then, we have here, ito medyo intriguing kasi 15,000 lang. Pero I believe this is a bear. Yeah. So, the broker is from Rebap. There, may aircon lang siya, heater. So, at least ito po, nabe-benchmark ninyo kung ano yung magiging market. You have 20,000 nearest. So, I think for the 150,000, this is the kind of furniture that we can achieve. Safe to say, no? 150,000. Conservatively. So, let's just assume na this is for 20,000. No? If you're going to do it there, at least with AC, you still have to, install the AC, install the heater. So probably hindi ka naman nalalagpas siguro doon na. Well, it depends on the AC. Medyo mahal kasi sa AC. Let's just assume 75 or no. Pero 60 lang. Kasi mura lang naman ang heater. Alright. So let's just assume no, na bare lang siya. And as you can see, you have a bear here na 15,000, 20,000, may gamit pa talaga siya. May 21 dito pero is this furnished? Para lang we have a benchmark po. No? Yeah, this is bear. So 21,000. So siguro safe to say let's go 20,000. Pero it's a bit risky, no? As a rent manager, it's a bit risky for 20,000 bear. So kung 18,000 the safest. So let's just assume na for 20,000. So you have your 20,000. Cleaning charge, well, you don't have that much pet. Bawal ang pet kay SMBC kasi. So, you have your 20,000 na monthly gross income. This is a bit aggressive kasi we're not considering vacancy. No, kung kailan mapapalis out yung unit. So this is assuming na you can lease it out pagkakuha mo na, let's say in a month, pagkakuha mo ng unit. So this is 20,000. Operating expenses, I list some. No, Airbnb charge you don't have. Yung mga management fees na to wala kasi ano naman siya, what you call this, long term. So lahat ng management fee. Unit upkeep, probably you don't need much kasi brand new naman yung unit. No? Or siguro, you can lagay ka lang 1/5. Kasi in Fame kasi, we have unit owners na merong mga unit, especially in Tower 3, Tower 2 and 3, na malakas ang leaks, mataas ang humidity, so nagtutubig yung walls, ganyan. Wi-Fi, usually shouldered by the tenant. Water, shouldered by the tenant. Electricity, shouldered by the tenant. Marketing expenses, if you have an agent, so this is actually 8.3%, which is 1/12. So let's just assume na divide na lang natin ito sa 12. Kasi naka-monthly yung income natin. Hoa juice, alright. With SMDC Fame, if I'm not mistaken, if you have a Fame unit po, kindly let me know. I think around 50 to 60 pesos sila per square. So if you have, let's say sabihin natin 60 per square times 24 square meter, that's 1/4 per month. All right, 1/4 per month. Real property taxes, we haven't considered this yet. No. I'm just not sure sa sa actual RPT. Kasi hindi to based on BIR zonal values. This is based on the local government assessment roll. So, let's just say, safe to say, no, at least a month na nagsisave ka, that would be around, let's just say nagtatabi ka ng at least 1,000. No, assuming 12,000 yung RPT mo for those. Well, yeah. So you have a 5,600 OPEX. No. So you have an NOI of 20,000 minus the 5,600, that's around 14,000 in net operating income. Now, here's the problem. No, if you have a 14,000 NOI, tapos ang loan payment mo is 47,000, nagne-net cash flow ka na lang ng negative 32,000. Meaning, you are paying 32,000 to keep your unit imbis na kumita ka. Just to set the record straight po, no, we also sell SMDC. Pero personally, we don't recommend any SMDC condominiums in Metro Manila. Actually, this is anticipated na I know at some point, someone will mention SMDC and I'm really sure negative ang cash flow niya. Right? So, yeah. So, technically, we only considered 100% occupancy. This is assuming hindi ka na bakante. You know, for this row, all of these are 100% occupancy. So this is assuming na all units never na bakante. The question is, what more pag nabakante siya? Kasi walang kumakagat sa 20,000 mo. Or what more if your rent is only 18,000? So it's a bit challenging. Now, if you're going to check on the return, no, on our return, in terms of, let's say, no, kasi we have a loan, so let's not consider this. Okay. So, if you have an NOI, no, this is actually based on the NOI. No, this is not based on the cash flow yet, since this is a rate on return naman. It shows here na positive siya. So, total cash outlay, let's say, no, dito tayo sa may loan. This is actually 20% loan lang naman. Well, this is based on the NOI kasi. So, if you're going to base lang on the NOI, probably this won't, you know, dapat negative to. Let me just check the formula. Pero, if you wanted to focus on your cash, no, if you wanted to focus on your cash, yun nilabas mo lang, considering the all expenses, even yung pambayad mo ng loan, negative 23% ka na. Meaning, in 4 years time, kung di mo siya, alam mo yun, technically wala kang payback period. Uh, s- hindi siya positive return eh. You are paying for an investment na hopefully sana kumikita for you. Pero hindi. Alright? So, okay. We only base this on the 20% equity. Let's assume if we can do the sweet spot 50-50. Tingnan natin kung mag-work pa rin yung numbers. Alright. So, if you have 3 million equity and 3 million loan, your monthly loan is 29,000. And alam na natin, it won't work kasi ang rent nga natin is 20,000 lang. So, hindi talaga siya papasok. So, kahit i-keep natin everything na OPEX, rent na as is, we still have to deal with negative cash flow. Assuming at 100% occupancy rate. Now, mas maliit na lang yung ilalabas mo compared kanina. Pero the thing here is, you are paying for the next 20 years. Ito nga years before return of investment, 19 years. Actually, negative 19 na yun. Something you cannot consider. Pero 15 years lang yung loan mo. Right? So technically, in 15 years, ma-fully paid mo siya. Pero, aside sa nilabas mo 3 million, syempre mas malaki na yung nailabas mo kung may loan ka. Kasi may interest expenses pa yun. Alright? So, technically, ayan, based dito, no? Ito yung annual NOI mo. Annual NOI natin magkano? 172. Alright. 172 ang NOI. Assuming angat mo lang siya ng 180. Alright. Pero I don't think this would work kasi negative niya yung cash flow mo. So that's for SMDC chain. Alright. Let's try. Yeah. So may sinadya si sir, sabi niya, Amaya Skies Show. Amaya Skies Show. Sabi ni sir, 4.5 M. Assuming at 50-50 tayo. Let's search for the rental rate. Meron na siya dito kasi may mga available naman. Hanapin lang natin si that property. Actually, this is North Tower pa nga. Konti pa lang yung naka-for rent. Pero, alright. Sir, the 4.5, is it one bedroom or studio lang? Kasi ang studio niya for a furnish is 18,000, which is mabenta siya. Pero kung bare lang siya, 16,000. Studio, so probably this one. So kung bare lang din siya, 16,000. Probably mas mura yung cost to make rent ready. Let's say 50,000. If you run the numbers, 16,000 lang kasi yung bare niya. So technically, you almost have the same amounts. Pero negative pa rin ang cash flow mo. So, as mentioned, this is really anticipated for any condominium in Metro Manila. The numbers will never work if you're going to buy today. That's the hard fact po. We can test as many condos as we can. Actually, I have here SMDC Sands in Bay Area na naka-Airbnb setup. Let me show you. This is Airbnb setup pa. So, meaning, it is expected sana na mas malaki yung return kasi short-term rentals, no? Short-term siya. Sad to say, sir, almost all. Yes. Yes po. Uh, it, it, you may find it a bit ironic, no? Kasi I'm a real estate agent selling condominiums. Then I'm mentioning na there's walang worth it condominium yung natuwa nila. Yeah. So, let's just check, no? SMDC Sands. I check na po ito sa Airbnb, yung kung magkano yung sa Bay Area, plus yung price niya from SMDC. So, this is assuming at 50-50, no? 50% loan and 50% equity. At 8% interest, 15 years to pay. You have 38,000 in monthly rent. Right? So, I ran the numbers. Since Airbnb siya, maganda, I gave around 500,000 budget sana for renovating. Which is, if you saw online, medyo maliit pa yung 500,000. Now, meron po ditong sample na if 10 days lang siya occupied, 15 days, or 20 days. The basic rent, no, for Airbnb per night now in Bay Area is actually around 2,000 to 2,500. What I did po dito, given kasi 2027 pa yung kanyang, matagal pa yung turnover ni Sanse. So, assuming na lang tumaas ang rent, that's 3,000. So, cleaning charge, syempre you have naman every time may aalis na guest, nag-charge ka, let's say 500. So this is your monthly gross income kung 10 days, 15 days, and 20 days. You have 35, 50, 20, 70,000. As compared kanina na 20,000, 16,000. Probably maganda na to, no? So let's see. Airbnb charges 3% ng booking as their fee. You have, let's say, unit upkeep. Of course, Airbnb, short-term rental, mas marami kang kailangang i-maintain kasi mas mabilis mangangarag yung unit. So, I allotted here 10%. Airbnb, probably dapat may wifi ka. So, let's say, ang plan mo is for 2,000. The water is actually a bit low pa. Kasi kung daily rental to, probably it is higher. So, this is my estimate, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. Electricity, of course, malaki. Kasi, syempre, even kami pag nag-Airbnb kami, sinusulit mo talaga yung aircon, sinusulit talaga, right? So probably our guests also, ganun din. Marketing expenses, probably you have. If you're advertising pa, let's say on Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram, Hoa Juice, this is for, let's say, 2,000. I didn't consider RPT yet kasi, again, it's based on the LGU. But here's the thing. Even at 70,000 per month in Airbnb, considering all these expenses, ang NOI mo is around 19,000, 30,000, and 40,000 only. Again, we have a loan of 38,000 plus, let's say, insurance at around 2,000 per month. Your net cash flow per month is still negative. Even nagpa-Airbnb ka na. So, ang daming advertisement online na pa-Airbnb mo yung unit, mas malaki kita mo. But the sad reality is it still doesn't work. Ito, 20 days occupied. Ang cash flow niya is 600 pesos in a month. Yes, nag-liquidate na siya. No? Self-liquidating yung property mo. Wala kang nilalabas. Pero you don't enjoy your investment with all the pagod and everything. So this is for 70% occupied. This is hard fact. No? Kasi hindi naman talaga nag-90 to 100% occupancy ang mga condos. So, let's just say na ang NOI mo is this. This will be your return if you don't have a loan, considering yung renovation costs. Now, if you have a loan, of course, it's a bit higher. But then again, the most important thing is it cash flowing? May cash flow ba akong nakukuha? Kasi kung wala, it's not worth it. Right? At 0.16%, years bago mo makuha yung investment mo, that's 616 years. It's really not worth it. cap rate, alright. Let's just say, no, let's just say, yung 674 mo per month, ito yung annual NOI mo, and your target um, value, and your target, what do you call this? Alright. Ang value ng property mo is at 8.5 kasi, nagpaayos ka pa. You have a 5.77% cap rate. Given na nung binili mo siya is naka 5.77 cap rate ka, and you have an NOI of, ano yung NOI mo kanina? 490. If you're going to, target na mapataas yung NOI mo, let's say increasing rent or decreasing yung iyong expenses to 550,000 na lang per year. You have a resale value of 9.5 million. Now, this is a bit theoretical pa. Why? Because the 9.5 million for a one-bedroom condominium in Bay Area is a bit high for resale. Paano? We are seeing properties now selling at 4 to 5 million. Nasa mismong MOA complex ka pa. Sans Residences, nasa Baywalk area ka. Wala ka sa MOA. So, you need to assess if the 9.5 million na exit price mo sana in case you wanted to sell, no, is it realistic? So that's the challenge. So this one is for SMDC Sands. Now, I wanted to run a very special property located in Taft area because this is the only property na nakita ko na nasa below 4 million. Kasi all Taft properties now are 5 million. No? So the property is actually priced at 3.3 million. So it's a bit low, no? Mura siya for the market, but you need to set my expectation na probably the cut is smaller. All right? So compared to the usual cuts, probably this is only 17, 18 square meters. So maliit. But here's the thing. With hubs kasi, ang payment terms nila is 100% paid bago mag-turnover in 5 years. Dahil nga maliit lang naman yung price. So, wala silang option for financing. So, kung wala kang loan, theoretically, guaranteed dapat yung monthly income mo. Kasi wala kang binabayarang loan. No? Kailangan na lang may tao sa unit mo. But what is special with hubs is that meron ka nga lang restriction, no? For 10 years, hindi mo pwedeng gamitin yung unit mo for yourself. Why? Kasi meron siyang 10-year fixed na loan lease agreement with the property manager. Yung property manager nito is the same with the property manager ng ibang condotel sa Tagaytay. Yeah, they charge 35%. Pero what they're doing is that yung buong income ng buong building, hinahati nila yon among all unit owners. So may laman may tao man sa unit mo o wala. Monthly, may nare-receive ka. But the thing is, what they are showing is 90% occupancy. So we are going to run the numbers for 50 to 70% occupancy lang. No, assuming not all year round may estudyante na tenant. So technically, you don't have a loan. Cost to make rent ready, actually, they don't need kasi furnish nilang binibigay yung unit eh. Like, pag na-deliver, may kama na, may desks na, may aircon na. Kasi nga, ipaparent na siya agad. So, hindi optional yun eh. Required ka talagang ibigay yung unit mo sa kanila para ipalis. No? So, hindi mo, let's say, if you have pamangkin na mag-aaral sa Taft, sabi mo, ikaw muna magstay sa unit ko, they need to pay the monthly rent. Ganon. Alright, so let's say 10, 15, or 20 days na siya occupied. Yes, sir, yes, sure po. Alright. We also have a recording, so later we can share it with you. So here is the basic rent projected by Hubs. This is actually around 6.5 per square meter. Alright. So nakahati lang siya based dun sa annual kasi nila. So ang projected monthly income mo is this. Kung 10 days na siya occupied, well technically, depende sa occupancy ng buong building. Pero let's just assume na 15 days or 20 days, no? Probably 10 hindi na to realistic kasi hati-hati naman yung buong condo building. Alright, so let's just say 17,000 and 33,000. 35% ang expenses in terms of management fee ni Hubs ng mismong condo na nagmamanage. Let's say 10% is saved for upkeep. Of course, you need to deduct water, electricity. This is only an estimate. Okay, with Hubs, you don't have condo dues. Why? Kasi nakatuck-in na siya sa 35% management fee ni Hubs. Di ba po, kapag nagbabayad tayo ng condo dues, para yun sa property management ng condo. But since sa case ni Hubs, sila rin yung nagmamanage at nagbabayad ka na for management, there's no condominium dues. Pangalawa, real property tax. Since the land kasi is collective, si Hubs din yung nagpa-file nun. So technically, dideduct na nila yon sa inyong monthly gross income. By the way, this monthly gross income kasi is based on nawala na yung pamilyar. So, hindi na natin siya sinama kasi madodoble lang po siya. So, you have here 12,000 to 17,000 monthly income, operating expenses. So, given that, ang net operating income mo is 4 to 6,000 per month, no? Assuming kung liliit yung electricity, or liliit yung consumption ng mga ganyan, probably sagutin na yan ng, let's say, ng tenant. Alam ko tenant yan. Let's just remove this. Alright. So you have a net operating income, NOI, of 9 to 12 million. That's also your cash flow kasi wala kang loan. So let's check yung returns. Okay. So since wala kang loan, no, this is your NOI a year. This is also your cash flow na din. You have a return ng 3.3% kung half of the year lang siya occupied. 4.4% naman kung 70% of the year occupied, which is closer kasi around 70% lang naman ng taon may pasok. Next, cash on cash return is the same kasi you don't have a loan, but your payback period is this. 30%, 30 years if half of the year lang siya occupied, 23 years naman if 70% occupied. Now, Hubs is perfect for conservative investors. Yung gusto nila may pumapasok lang na monthly. No? Maliit ang return niya pero consistent. Almost guaranteed na siya. Kasi hinahati lang naman for the whole building. So, matagal lang ang return, no? Pero the monthly is there. Alright? So, if you're going to resell your property, you have a cap rate of 3.53 to 4.71%, which is pretty good, no? But here's the thing. Annual NOI natin is 116,000. If you're, let's say, umangat ang NOI natin ng 150. Let's just assume 150 for the 15 days, then 200,000 NOI for the 70% occupied. Yung 3.3 million mo has a resale value of 4.2 million, 4.25 million. The question is, the 4.25 million ba is realistic for the market prices na nasa tax area? Technically, yes. So, maganda yung resale value nyo. Hindi lang siya ganun kalaki, no, as compared kung malaking value yung pinag-uusapan natin. Pero, well, compared to Sands, maganda siya. Well, technically kasi you don't have a loan. No, probably if you run numbers kila Amaya, kila Fame na wala kang loan, magpa-positive cash flow ka talaga. Kasi big factor yung loan eh. So, this is one option. Now, let me share with you the last unit. This is the one that I'm really, really excited kasi this is the development of our team leader Boss Andy Manyala. Sila yung nag-develop ng property. Sila yung nagde-develop now ng property. And I wanted to share the numbers. So, as mentioned po kanina, no, if you're going to invest in Metro Manila na condominium at ipapa-long term mo siya, literally, it won't work kung may loan ka. No? Pero kung wala kang loan, of course, it will still work. Kasi wala ka naman binabayarang monthly. But if you wanted to maximize your funds, kasi we can only invest as much as we can, uh, might as well you do leveraging, no, to bank financing, at least 50%. So this way, at least you can check kung magiging maganda yung returns niya. Now, with Aya Hills, no, Aya Hills, this is actually located in near Tagaytay. So as mentioned kanina, it is hard to find cash flowing properties in Metro Manila. So, but the number one na paborito ngayon ng mga taga Metro Manila and mga taga Calabarzon is staycations. Staycations na wala sa Metro Manila. To tell you honestly, that's the trend. Why? Gusto nila nature. They wanted to be with nature. So, the good thing lang kasi with Aya Hills, uh, yung area niya, no, although it's a subdivision, there's a portion there na para siyang nature lang, na hindi talaga nila ginagalaw. So, nakadikit doon kasi si Aya Hills. Now, I wanted to run the numbers for you. Kasi this is the only project that I saw talagang maganda ang numbers. Alright? And this is conservative, no? Kanina medyo aggressive pa tayo. Alright. So si Aya Hills po kasi, the price is at around 8.9 million. Probably ang pinakamahal is 10.5 million lang. So, here's the thing. If you wanted to do Airbnb and you're eyeing sa MOA area, kasi syempre doon malakas, ang ng mga hotels, pwede kung walang loan. Pero kung may loan, as you can see kanina, it still doesn't work. So let's just assume, no, 50-50 as a rule of thumb, sweet spot. 50% equity, 50% loan. The 4.45 million at 8% interest for 15 years, that would be around 42,500 per month in monthly amortization sa bank. Now, okay, this particular 8.9 million kasi, meron na siyang jacuzzi. So you don't need to improve that part. But you only need furniture and probably some basic appliances. No? Kasi ang idea with Aya Hills is staycation. No? Ang daming taong gusto mag-staycation in Metro Manila. Pero minsan ilan lang sila. Like 5 people, 3 packs. They cannot they won't go to private resorts kasi masyadong malaki, no? So Aya Hills is the perfect fit for them. Now, cost to make rent ready, I set it at around 500,000. This is actually recommended by Aya Hills kasi one of their founders is actually the one who grew the To Go Hotel. Is you're familiar with uh, Go Hotel ba yun or To Go Hotel? He is the one na nagpalaki nun. So talaga may experience siya in terms of running hotel businesses. So recommended niya is around 500,000. Let's say closing cost still at 6%. Cash outlay mo at almost 5.5 million. Now, with Aya Hills, of course, it's a leisure property. So we are considering at least 10 days occupied. No, that means 4 months, a year lang siya may tenant or may guest. Maximum na siguro 20 days kasi hindi naman lahat ng tao nagpupunta talaga ng mga staycation. Usually ano lang, summer, holidays, long weekends, but not all the time. So let's consider that 10 days para medyo conservative lang. Okay. Can you chat in the type box? The property kasi is a 100 square meter na two-story, para siyang townhouse type, no? pero it has its own jacuzzi, or ibang unit kasi it has its own pool eh. So, when we check Airbnb, the average no na rent in the area is actually 10,000 per night for that kind of property. So, and this is also, no, aside sa sinerge na namin, uh, you can check din sa Airbnb, bandang Tagaytay and Talisay area. That's more or less 10,000 if mga pang maximum 5 packs lang naman. So, this one then also is facing Taal Lake, no? So, talagang nature inspired lang siya. Now, 10,000 per night usually ang staycation for these properties. So, let's just set at 10,000. Actually, may 10,000 na ngayon, no? Pero since 2027 kasi siya matatapos, sinet na namin siya ng 10,000 ng pang 2027 para medyo conservative. Now, let's just assume na hindi na tayo magcha-charge ng mga cleaning fee, parking charge, pet charge. Let's just assume tuck-in na siya. No? Parang bonus mo lang sa mga guests mo. Parang perks ba? You have 100 to 200,000 in monthly gross income. Now, Airbnb only charges 3%. Pero sabi ko, paano kung may other expenses ka aside kay Airbnb? So what I did is I charge it for 15%. But the actual is 3% lang. So I make it 5 times more. No? So just to be conservative. I mean, this is pretty big. This will be 3,000, Pero let's just say 15%. No? Conservative lang po tayo. ALC management, the AYA, ang maganda po kasi is si Aya Hills, pwede mo siyang i-enroll for Airbnb management. So, hindi mo kailangan pumunta doon or mag-hire ng tao or whatsoever, but their management fee is 10%. Magkakaroon kasi sila ng office doon and they have more or less 40 units, so they only charge 10%. Now, yun nga yung sabi ko kanina, paano kung tumaas ang charge niya, let's say naging 15% or naging 20%, at least pwede mo siyang hatakin from here, from the 15% Airbnb charge. Kasi may excess ka ditong 12%. So assuming na lang umabot ng 22% ang charge ni management fee, conservatively, that's still, pasok sa numbers. Nalipat lang siya. Upkeep. Mag-keep lang tayo tulad kanina, 10%. No? So this is 10% of the income. Wi-Fi, still the same 2,000 for that same plan. Water, of course, bigger ang water kasi you have pool, you have, or kung hindi man, jacuzzi for the unit. So, more or less, meron talagang pool. And kung pang Airbnb staycation siya, yun ang habol nila eh. Right? So, nilakihan natin yung estimate. Electricity, ganun din. No? Nilakihan din natin yung estimate kasi it's a 2-story, 100 square meter. Unlike kung Airbnb ni SMDC sa MOA na 24 square meter, yun. So, we extended those na. Well, nakihan pa natin, no? Let's make it 7,500, 10,000. Mag-adjust pala siya. 7,500, 11, and 15,000. So, taasan natin yung electricity cost. Para lang, conservative kasi malaki yung unit. Marketing expenses, assuming you have other marketing channels, 2,000, 4,000 per month. Depende sa occupancy. HOA dues, yeah. Since nasa subdivision si Aya Hills, they have a HOA dues of around 2,000. But I wanted to make it conservative also. So let's make it 5,000. Para, mas mataas. Ang wala lang dito is the real property taxes. So that one kasi will be based on assessment ni LGU pag natapos na si Aya. So, based on this, you have a monthly operating expense medyo malaki, no? 54,000, 79,000, 104,000. So, tinaasan natin yung iba. Yeah, so this is pretty conservative na. So, compared to the loan payments natin kanina, if you're going to run it for 10 days, no? probably not a good fit for you kasi, almost break even siya. So might as well, at least half of the year occupied siya. Now that's your threshold. Now, if you're going to have it half a year or hanggang 70% occupied, there's a potential na for net cash flow. 25,000, 50,000. So, aside sa nagsaself-liquidate siya, the numbers work for you. Now, this is conservative, no? If you wanted to do it more aggressively, let's say, let's keep this at 3%, then 10%, let's say 20% for the management, 10% upkeep. Medyo aggressive to. So, sabihin balik natin ito ng 5,000. And let's say 3,000 na lang to. Now, this is a bit aggressive, no? Pero kung aggressive ka, you get a cash flow kung 10 days lang siya. Pero, we wanted to have something more conservative. So, that one, no, you have at least 15 days occupied siya. Now, in terms of return, if nakakash yung buong property mo, no, you will hover around 8%, which is pasok sa market. Kasi if you're not getting at least 8% from your investment, might as well you go to real estate investment trust. Kasi doon, it can go 8% dun, or MP2, no? Pag every MP2. So, wala ka pang ginagawa, right? So, liquid pa siya. So, might as well, dapat at least 8%. Now, if you have a loan, of course, the return will be higher. Kasi your annual NOI is almost 1 million. And this is what I'm talking about. This is the only property na nakita ko talagang nag-cash flow at nagkaroon ng ROI na more than 10%. So this one, at least, you can benchmark the numbers. Now, in terms of cash and cash return, if 10 days lang siya occupied per month, probably break even ka lang. Pero, if you manage to increase the occupancy to 15 to 20 days, this time you have actual cash on cash return. No, lahat na nakita kasi natin kanina, hindi na lumagpas ng 5%. No, for that same amount na ininvest mo. But this time, it's cash flowing. And if you wanted to resale, so what is your capitalization rate? At 9 to 12%. It's a bit higher compared kanina kay Hubs na maliit lang yung cap rate. Pero, if you're going to kasi this is 546, so let's say, annual target NOI mo, palakihin mo ng 650,000. Or 600, probably 600,000 na lang. Para mas maliit. Mas achievable. The property you bought at 8.9 million, you have a resale value of 10 to 12 million. If you're familiar with Tagaytay area, like Tagaytay Midlands, Tagaytay Highlands, you're not going to see any property selling at 10 million. We actually have lots of properties there na for sale ngayon, ranging at around 20 million to 35 million ang mga house and lots doon. So, there's a potential for resale. So, yeah, I only share this one kasi, it's interesting. You can see the numbers from a perspective na one, hindi nagka-cash flow at negative ang return. Two, nagka-cash flow pero you don't have leverage or restricted ka. And three, you have a property na landed, para sa'yo, and nagka-cash flow talaga. So at least you can see benchmarks, no? So if you wanted to get recommendation ng mga properties, let's say in Metro Manila or outside Metro Manila, what we can recommend to you are only 1, 2, 3, 4 properties. After we check hundreds of them, some of the cash flowing properties are only Hubs. I know 3 Hubs, Copton in Bay Area, and this one, Aya Hills. So yeah, those are the only 3 cash flowing properties in the Metro Manila if you wanted to get a loan. No. So yeah, so that's actually how we run the numbers. If you wanted to get a copy of this sa spreadsheet, we can share it to you sa email registered po in your registration link. And let me just go back to my other screen. All right. So may I know if how was the discussion for you? All right. Or if you wanted to run another, no? Or probably for the respect na rin, no? For the time of everyone. Um, okay. Let me just get to my final thoughts and share with you something interesting po. Of course, no, building your real estate portfolio, it takes time. No, depending on your financial capacity, hindi naman siya overnight talaga. Pero, uh, it is better na you can check on properties that can really help you financially kesa kayo yung nag-aabono just to keep that same property. So for those po na nag-join today, we actually have a very special gift for everyone. No. Uh, First of all, thank you for trusting us with your units, for marketing your units, and thank you also for being here with us today. So as a bonus gift for everyone, we are actually giving this for the first time, no? And uh, I just speechless na ako kasi this will take a lot of commitment and, long-term relationship. Our team po kasi, we are aiming to be a consulting agency in the future. No, that's why we're doing this. We wanted to build an agency that can help property investors in analyzing and helping Philippine investors, either Filipino or international, na makakuha ng properties na pasok sa talagang hanap nila in terms of the numbers. So for those people po na nandito today, this is non-transferable po. This is only for you. Uh, we're actually giving this kind of service to you for free for life. So if you wanted na ipa-consult sa amin a certain property that you like, na let's say either condo man yan, house and lot, or whatever kind of property na let's say tinitingnan nyo na, and you wanted to know the numbers, you wanted us to run the numbers for you and give you recommendation. This is all free of charge, no? Since this is the first time that we're doing this is our way of saying thank you as well. So, we actually have a list of attendees today. So, kayo po yung first batch of people who can get this service for free for life. So, as long as you wanted to check on different properties, just message us, message your rent manager, or you can also message me through these contact details, and we will run the numbers for you. If you wanted to resale also, you can do basic appraisal for that para at least you got to see where the market is. So, yeah. So thank you everyone for joining us. And I hope we're able to share with you our experiences, our expertise also. And we're really looking forward for a long-term relationship with you. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you everyone for joining. Is it okay if I will get a photo for us? Let me just stop sharing. Yeah, if you can on your cameras po, and I will just get a snippet po. Alright. Hi, Sir Jess. Good afternoon. Kamusta po? Actually, our team in Japan, nandiyan sila ngayon. Sir Fran, actually, we're going to Dubai as well very soon. All right. Nice to meet you, everyone. So let me just take a photo po. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. So don't worry po, no, we're not going to post this. We're just going to have it saved para remembrance. So of course, privacy nyo rin. So we're not going to post this photo. And thank you so much for joining us and for trusting us. So we really look forward to meeting you po in person, mga sir, mga ma'am. And yeah, thank you everyone. Just in case you have questions po, you can raise now and we will answer it bago tayo mag-end pala. Alright. So, thank you, Sir John, Sir Brian, Sir Fren, Ma'am Annalyn. Thank you so much for being with us today. Ma'am Jerson, Sir Jess. Thank you so much po. Let me end the recording.